What's up, my people? I be Douglas here, and you're welcome to my channel. In this episode of the Post Down Breakdown series, I'll be showing you how I was able to achieve this countdown design on Photoshop. If you are new to my channel, do well to hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications for future videos. And don't forget to also like, comment, and share this video to a designer today. All right, so let's get straight to the point. Yeah, so just like in my previous videos, like I said, I'm just going to drop down, like turn off all the layers and start afresh. Like I said in my first video, if you haven't watched that first video when I did the first poster design breakdown of another countdown design, do well to check out that video somewhere on the screen. So yeah, so I'm just going to turn off this layer. This is like my finishing touch layer. Just turn off everything and we're going to start from the scratch. Okay, just give me a second. Yeah, good. So this is my blank canvas. So the first thing, like I always said, what I do before I choose the color for my background is to add the pictures, right? I always add the pictures and that helps me choose my colors. I could either pick the colors from the picture itself, or I would just pick a complementary color to that picture. So I know that my first layer here is it's giving this color because I just had to organize it properly. But my first this thing was the pictures. But let me just add this background, so I'll explain the reason how this would complement the picture I'm going to add. Okay, so I've added my color, added this my picture here. How I was able to arrive at this picture, first and foremost, this is the original picture. If I turn off the black and white section and I turn my blend mode to the normal color and 100%, this is the original picture, right? So it's already a black and white picture though. I don't know why I just did it, made it black and white again. It didn't make any difference though. Just force of habit. And then I chose the soft light blending mode and I reduced my opacity to 46. I don't know why I've been liking 46 this period. All right, so yeah, 46%. So that was it. Don't worry about. I'm sure you might be asking, okay, why is it here and why am I not bringing it? Don't worry, you will know the reason. Okay, so the next thing I did was to add this. Now, the reason, now you have seen why it covered that area, right? So the reason I was able to achieve this was from the picture. So I'm going to add the picture first and I'll show you guys how I was able to achieve that. Let me just go up. This is my picture here. This is the picture, right? So what I just did was I just increased the size of the picture. I'm going to show you guys like from scratch how to achieve that. I just increased the size of the picture, right? Just give it like a good size that I want. So this is the size I wanted to achieve for that. I'll undo on this thing. So what I just did was I had to just go straight to my, sorry, let me activate my keys. So I'll just use my shortcut and go to my blending options. You can also just right click here and go to blending options, right? So I'm just going to my blending options and I will click on color overlay. So when you click on cover overlay, whichever color that is already selected here, this is what it's going to give. So I chose the color of the image. That's the dress of the image. So this kind of color, yeah, or this one. But I chose this one, the darker this thing. So that was how I was able to arrive at that. So once I did that, once I chose that, I just duplicated it. Let me duplicate this so I wouldn't have issues. So once I arrived at that, I now had to like convert it completely to like a full smart object. I converted it to a smart object. Then I still converted it like to a layer. So it's a rasterized layer. Let me go to this place. This is where I was able to achieve that stuff. Let's go out from here. So, and then I now added like, yeah, so this is basically how we did it. So just added this stuff and then I now added like a pattern here. Now this pattern was overlaid, and then I had to like power clip this pattern to the image itself. So this is the original pattern though. This is the original pattern. I converted it to black and white. So let me remove my black and white option. So this is how the pattern is. I converted it to black and white. Like I said in my previous video, if you want to get patterns, I get my patterns from Pinterest. So just search for crazy patterns on Pinterest and all that. You're going to get it. So I converted it to black and white, and then I chose the overlay option, and then I reduced my opacity a bit, right? And then what I did was to now power clip that background on that image. So you see, so that thing was now, I power clipped my background inside. So instead of it to just be all over the place, both on the background and this, is just only here. So when I move this guy now, because what I always do is whenever I power clip such a thing, I always try to group it so it becomes one. So, and as is one now, I can now move it together, and you see how I was able to achieve this. So I'm just going to ungroup, I'm going to I say ungroup, undo. Sorry guys. Yeah, so that's how I was able to achieve that. So let me just turn it on. So you guys have seen, yeah, you can leave it as a smart object, or you can leave it as a rasterized layer, right? So whichever one, as far as whether it's a smart object or a normal rasterized layer, you can power clip your pattern. I'm using power clip for Corel Draw, but for Photoshop, clip mask. Okay, so you just hold your alternate, you can remove it, you hold your alternate again to clip mask. Okay, so that was it. And then the next thing I now did was to add like my write-up. Like in my previous video, like I explained, I generate my write-ups from ChatGPT, depending on the countdown, because I'm doing an 8 days countdown design. I just generated like an 8 days countdown write-up whatsoever on ChatGPT, and I was able to arrive at that. And then I started adding like my letters. So don't worry, it's looking a bit scattered. I'm not starting from the beginning, but I'm just going to explain to you how I was able to arrive at those shapes. So before I added these letters, right, I added my picture. Before I added these letters, I added my picture. So this is my picture here. I added it at the center. This is the original image. This was the image I used to arrive at this bigger one, right? And then I added like a gradient. I added like a brush. I added like a brush glow effect behind my image just to make that image pop, right? I duplicated it. So if you want to arrive at this brush tool, if you want to do that, first of all, you just have to like create a layer. So um, let's just create a new layer. Click on plus here, create a new layer. Click on your brush tool, which is B. This is your brush tool. You can increase the size depending on what you want, and then from here you can pick the color. So I always pick the colors from my images if I want to, put something like a glow effect behind the original image. So I pick it from the image. So this is the color. I picked that color. I think I picked a lighter color though. Yeah, the lighter color, and then you come here, you can choose how hard or how soft you want it to be, right? And once you're done, you just come here, you click, you click, you click, and all those other things. So that was how I was able to achieve that. I just clicked here, clicked, I just duplicated, and then I now came to my this thing. I just chose like a different blending option that will bring out that glowy effect. So yeah, my screen glow effect brought out that option, overlay and this other. So you have to try like different blend modes to see which one will give you the effect you want. So I chose the screen option, and then I just reduced my opacity a bit so it won't look too much. So that was how I was able to achieve that. So yep, just delete it here. So that was able to achieve that. And then I started adding my letters, right? So I'm doing an 8 days to go countdown. So I started from my letter E. Forgive me, my layers are not properly arranged. I was just doing this as it goes. So excuse me. So this is my letter E, right? If you want to know the name of this font, the name of this font is, sorry to load, luckiest guy. I'm actually one of the luckiest guys. So the name of this font is luckiest guy. You can download it on Google. Just search for luckiest guy font. Okay, so this is my E. I'll add my I. Add my I. Now that I is like an outline. It's like an outline, but I was able to get that outline from after like writing that letter I itself. So let me just get to where the main this thing is. So this is my I, and how the reason why I added that outline was so that it can also display the so that it can also display like some parts of the pictures. It looks as if it's power clipped inside of it, right? If I remove that outline, if I remove that outline, let me go to where it is. Sorry, guys. If I remove that outline, this is how it's going to look. So I just added outline. Let it like give, that visibility of the letter I. So that's basically why I did that. And then I added my G. So funny enough, yeah, the G that's at the center of the image. Where is my letter G? Where you did? Where you did? You don't go hide. Where is my letter G? Where is the G? Where is the G? Sorry, guys. Where is the G? This G don't go hide. Okay, I'm guessing it's up. Okay, see here. So I added my letter G and I added a shadow to it. So it would give, it won't just to like, bring out the letter out. So that's why I added my shadow to the G. And funny enough, this G stands for the first letter of my pastor's name. George Izuma. So when I finished the design and I was like, interesting, 8 days to go. And the G at the center of the image just like signifies the first letter for George. It's like, oh, Pastor George Izuma. I was like, wow, interesting, brilliant. So I added my drop shadow to that image. You know how to add your drop shadow now. Just right click, go to your blending options. And you click on drop shadow. Just click on drop shadow and play with your properties here to achieve whatever option it is you want to achieve. Okay, so that's it for the G. So sorry that my letters were like it's not properly arranged sequentially on the layers panel, simply because of what I wanted to achieve. It's not like a one straight font, one straight word that I wrote. I had to break these letters individually so that I can achieve what I wanted to achieve. Yeah, so that's it. So EIG, so we have letter H. This is my letter H, right? This is also a stroke. I had to add a stroke. Okay, and then I added the letter H. I think the original letter H should be behind the image. Yeah, so the letter H is behind the image. Now, if I didn't add that outline, right, it will be lost. If I didn't add that outline itself, it will be lost. So you wouldn't see the letter H. So that was why I had to add these outlines. Most of the letters that were hidden behind the images, right, you wouldn't see them because I knew that, okay, it won't be really visible. I had to create an outline so you could just, have an idea that this is actually letter H. So you can see now that it's visible because of the outline. Okay, so EIGHT. So where is my letter T? So this is my letter T. So that is how I was able to achieve the 8. Okay. Then my days to go. Let me just turn it up. Same font I used before. So I'm just going to put my days. I'll put my days here. This was how I was able to achieve the days. If you want to know the font for this, the name of this font is Black Signature, just like what I did used in my previous countdown poster breakdown design, my previous video. Okay, then same font to days to go. Added my days to go. The name of this font is your Lexen. All these fonts are very easy. You can either download them from datfonts.com or you can just search them on Google. Lexen fonts free download. You see different results where you can get those things. So that's how I was able to achieve that. So I'm done with my countdown stuff. So the next thing I had to now add was like the name. Okay, so George, added George. That's my pastor's name, George. So I don't know why it's not. Sorry, guys. So I added George. I added Izunwa. I don't know why it's not showing here. Oh, okay. So this was what I did was just these were like script fonts that I added at the top. Sorry, guys. So before I added those things, I added like the name of the this thing. So let me just go straight to it. So yeah, this is what I was looking for. So yes, George is over. Sorry, forgive me. This layer panels was really scattered because of the things I wanted to achieve. I didn't want to do like a straightforward thing. So yes, this is my font. The same font I used for the to go. That was the same font that I used here. So you can check it out, which is Lexend. So George is over. I just flipped it and then Pastor. I added Pastor there. I used a script font for that same black signature font, right? And then I now added the dates, right? I added the dates. It's a countdown design to this particular date, which was 7th February. So I just added the date there. And then I added my hashtags I wanted to use on the design, which is below here. And then just to add like a little, make it a little bit more interesting. Most times I do that sometimes on my designs. I just add like a script font of that particular design, a script font of the subject's name. I just add it at the top and at the bottom. I can just add it once one side, sure. I can add it at the top only. I can add it at the bottom. I can just add both at the top and the bottom. So I just did like George. That is a script font and it was black signature. So this is the font actually. So let me bring it down. What I just did was I flipped it, right? So if you want to flip if you want to flip it, if I go back, I just go to flip horizontal. If I go to flip horizontal, flip vertical. So I think it's if I flip to 180, I'll be 90, whichever way. You shall know how I was able to achieve that. So you just play with your rotation and you'll be able to get the this thing. So it's actually that font. Just do your rotation and all that, and you can get it. You can either use this option that I'm trying here, or you can just do any this thing. So I just flipped it. I didn't want you to like. It's not something that you need to read, right? It's not something that you need to read. Um, it's something that is just like a pattern or a style to the design. So that's why I just did that. I just rotated it, and then I was able to achieve that effect. So I'm just going to undo this. Good. So we're done with that. Then add it back again. And then Izunwa, the same thing here, added at the bottom. So if you want to bring it, this is actually the same thing here. So I just, so this is it, Izunwa. So I just brought it down. It's the same black signature font. So yeah, I'm just playing around. Playing around with it. Sorry, guys. So yeah, so that's how I was able to achieve that. And then I just added my logo just to be on the same baseline with the to go. So yeah, that's basically what I did. And then what I always do, just like I showed in my previous video, I'll always convert all these layers into one image, into one layer. So like I merge all my layers together. I have a shortcut for it though. I have a shortcut for it. And I think it's a general shortcut on Photoshop already. So you just click on one layer, and if you want to achieve that merging into one layer, I love shortcuts. So just click on your Shift Control Alternate E, and it's going to just generate or merge the entire layers into one. So yes, you see that I've been able to get this one layer and then you convert that layer to a smart object. Because I'm going to make some edits, I want to make it crisp and all that, I want to take it to my camera raw. And before you start making any changes or going to your camera raw, it's always advisable you use or convert your image to a smart object. Converting it to a smart object enables you to still go back and make changes if you want to. But if you just leave it like this and you go to your camera raw and make the effect, it's permanent. You can't go back to it, you can't switch back, and it's going to be an issue. So you can just either right click here and go to smart objects, convert to smart objects, right? I have a shortcut for that, but let's just do this for the sake of people who are watching this for the first time. So convert it to smart objects, and then um, general shortcut for your camera raw is your shift control A. It takes you to your camera raw, or you could go to filter and look for your camera raw effect there. So just give it some time to load. And here, this is my camera raw. I'm in my camera raw. So you can just come here and play with the design, play with your highlights, play with anything you want to do here to achieve something more crispy. Or this is too much, you can just come here. Maybe you can play with texture. My secret ingredient is my grain effect. I love adding grain effects, but I don't like putting so much, but you always see it in my designs. So I'll just add this grain effect, because you might say noise effect, however it is you want to say it. So I'll just add that there, just from few edits just to make it pop. Yeah, so just do that. I might try to increase if I want to increase that. I don't want to do that. Try to do the black side. So you just play around with it, and whatever it is you want to achieve there, you can achieve. And when you're done, you click on OK. Okay. So yeah, so that's how I was able to achieve that final or finishing touches on my design. I'm just going to delete that and make use of the one I did, which the changes wasn't really that much. Just going to hit my backspace button here to delete this layer. And yeah, voila. So that's how I was able to achieve this design. So if you want to be able to change the color, right? I know that some of us here already knows these things, but I'm not going to also assume everybody knows it. So if you want to change the color of a finishing product on your Photoshop, like you want to change the color, this one now, you will see if you post a design, the next slide will now have a different color shade of that original design, and just be changing colors and all that. A very simple way to do that. You just go straight to, first and foremost, because I'm using an artboard, I'm going to duplicate my artboard. And on that artboard, I'm just going to hit my control button and shift it out here. So it just give me, just to separate it so you can see the difference of what we are going to achieve. Okay, so I'm just going to click down the drop down. I like renaming my artboards, but I'm not going to do that for the sake of the time of this video. So I'll just select that layer, and I will go to my hue and saturation shortcut, which is a general shortcut on Photoshop, is Control U. So I go there, and you can start changing this, but when you start doing this, if you just use the master option, it's also going to affect the color of the image, right? And I don't want to do that. The only thing I just wanted to change was the blue colors only on the design. So if you want to achieve changing the color of, just changing one color of the design, if you want to be able to achieve that, all you just need to do is you come to this master section, you can select blue because it is blue, right? But if the colors that you want to change is not in this option, you can just go straight and click on this button. This is like your color picker, right? And then you select that color you want to change. It's actually a blue color. And then you can now come to your hue and you can start making changes. So that's how I was able to achieve that, like that purple effect. You can give it green, you can give it, see how they're able to achieve different color shades, and it's still maintaining the original color of the image, right? Because of the color that was selected. So anything that has that particular color, everything that is blue is going to change. Everything that has that blue color is changing. So you see, you just get different color shades, different color shades. So that's how I was able to achieve that. And when you are done, you select both those two artboards, hold your shift key, you select those two artboards, you just come here and you click export as. I have a shortcut for it though. I have a shortcut for it. I just use my shift control alternate and my comma, and then it just goes to export that. But that's like my own shortcut. You can create that separately on Photoshop. If you want a video for how to create shortcuts, personal shortcuts on Photoshop, do well to drop that in the comment below and I will create that for you. Okay, so yeah, these are the artboards that I've selected. This is this, and then you just click on export and you select the file directory where you want to save that file. So yeah, that's basically it. So we have come to the end of this video. If you found this video helpful, do well to drop a comment below of what you learned from this video, and don't forget to also hit the subscribe button and turn on the post notifications for future videos. Don't also forget to share this video to a designer again. All right, so see you next time in my next video, and have a sweet and lovely day, my people. Cheers.